Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7.
What's happening, folks? We are live on the air right now, man, and as I posted on my personal page earlier, we got my good brother Rick. Turn that volume down on your phone, it's a good sir. I can hear that in the back. Oh yeah, you don't even have your headphones on, but it's all good. It don't matter. We got my brother here, Rick. Let me make sure that your headphones is on and up while I'm talking about your headphones being on. We got brother here, Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit is in the building, man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I was just telling you a little while ago. It's been too long since I've last been here, man.
Yeah, man. I've been to I don't know, about 10 of your classes since the last time you've been
You're
here, man.
always welcome. You are always welcome.
Yeah, and you know one thing about it, man. Every time that I'm in your class, you deliver a very thorough presentation. And although you deliver a very thorough presentation, I always absorb some new stuff that I didn't take in the last time. That's why I don't mind coming to the same class again, because it's always something that I'm gonna get from that and take from it. And, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm always there.
There's always a baseline of information that should be delivered in a CPL class, but you know what? You have different people as students in the class, and they have their own unique experiences and their own unique personalities and their own questions that they ask, and then that'll pull something out of me to put into the class that wasn't in the previous class, because that content and that conversation is focused or is generated from the person who asked it. So no class is 100% the same. But if you come to any specific class, there will be something or quite a few things that will be unique based on the people who are there. So it's a continual learning experience. And believe it or not, I actually learned some things from my students who tell me what's going on and what's happening and the latest things that are happening in the community, and I actually learn a few things from time to time.
from the legal questions and excuse me, especially the legal portion. You know what I mean, between you and Tony and like you said, the people that's in the class. That is probably my favorite part of what y'all do there, man, because it's a lot of information, a lot of valuable information in it, and I'm always learning from and able to take and walk around like I know something. Like, did you know this? Or you go, you can't go like the. And I still owe you lunch, brother. I forgot to bring it because you won me that $20 bet because I had a friend of mine who told me that I was brandishing my firearm. By carrying my 30-round extended magazine in my appendix carry in my holster on my inside. He said, I can see your mag. If you was out in Troy, they'd bother you about that.
I mean, they might bother you about it, but you wouldn't be illegal. I mean,
What would be I guess the reason for them to bother me? What would you think they would say?
They'll tell you that your presentation, was it was curious. It drew attention. They'll say that someone called, and now that since someone called and had a question or concern about you walking around and you have your concealed firearm with this huge magazine extended from your waistband. There's been some really interesting things that have happened in the news all across the country, and we're constantly telling people, if you see something, say something. So we got this young brother, out in the street with this magazine hanging out of his shirt. Yeah, well, you know what? Somebody might see something, and someone might be inclined to say something. That doesn't mean that what you did was wrong. It's just we're in a time and age, man, where anything.
You got a lot of anti-gun people out there.
Well, you have anti-gun people out there, and you have some truly disturbed, crazy people out there too. So I get it. I understand. We're constantly telling people, see something, say something. But at the same time, at the other end of the spectrum, you have people who are doing nothing more than exercising their rights. And so exactly where do we balance this equation? I really can't say, definitively where, the line is, but as long as you're doing something that is appropriate, something that's legal, something that is correct, you have nothing to worry about. If you get approached by law enforcement, so be it. I mean, you're not breaking the law. They'll investigate and they'll go on about their business.
Most definitely. As I've recently, as you know, obtained my CPL license.
Congratulations,
oh, yeah,
man!
I
Congratulations. I've been on. I've watched you on this journey, man, and I'm glad that you finally got it together, brother.
Thank you for putting me in the lane where I needed to be, and all of the knowledge, man, that you got, man, and instilling that into your classmates, man. I'm glad to be a 5-time classmate.
Hey, man. Hey, it's like holy water. Sometimes it had to do a few more times for it to take, man.
Most definitely. But, yeah, man, I'm always having a good time at the range and in the class, man. And speaking of the class, this thing that you do every year, since I've known you, it's like it's a big deal that you do.
It's a huge deal
every year with getting the women armed and ready, getting the women laid.
Yes, I
Get
do.
the women laid every
That's
year.
my acronym.
600 Williams, 600 Williams, 600. Man, this is the only
600
dude that I know.
last
Y'all talking
time
about Wilt
around.
Chamberlain? This dude
Right.
laid, I don't know, 600,000-700,000 women every year. But tell them what we're talking about before they get too
We're
carried
talking
away.
about Legally Armed in
Armed in
Detroit.
Detroit.
That's my acronym, legallyarmedindetroit.com. If you go to this laid.com he's talking about, I have no idea what you're going to see, and I apologize in
Laid.com.
advance for what's at that site. Do not go to laid.com.
Go to laid.
Legallyarmedindetroit.com is what we're talking about.
Legally
but
armed in Detroit.
specifically, and I said that right. I didn't say
Not-
I didn't say
not
specifically. I said
or
specifically.
Atlantically.
Right.
What's the opposite of Pacifically? But yeah,
Exactly.
so
What
there
we're
it is.
What we're talking about is a community service project that I started roughly 7 years ago. I saw a very disturbing story in the media. There was a situation in which a woman's body had been violated and just left in the street like a piece of trash. And I was thinking, man, that should not happen. That should not occur. Wow. Someone somewhere should do something, right? Something, right? And I kept saying someone. And then it bothered me personally, man. I said, well, you know what? I'm someone.
I have something that I could do something.
There's
about.
something that I could
could
do. Yeah. So I went to, social media and press releases and all that, and I put out a press release to say, hey, look, come to this gun range. Talking about women, come to this gun range regardless of your level of experience and or ability, your access to resources. I'll take care of all of that. I will provide a firearm. I'll provide you with ammunition. I'll provide you with supervision and instruction, and I will at least give you a first-rate shooting lesson. And if you so decide that this is for you, then we can talk about taking it to the next level. And if you decide for whatever reason that this is not for you and you didn't like shooting, or I wasn't able to convince you to explore taking on a more active role in your personal protection in the future, that's okay too. My job is just to at least allow you to experience what it's like, rather than, forming an opinion based on some wives' tale that you heard at the beauty salon, or some people talking in the community and they aren't really qualified to give you some really good information. And just try it. It's kind of like what's that cartoon? Sam I Am?
Sam I Am.
Green eggs and ham. Try it. You might like it, you see, right? Just try it. And let me tell you, and to a person, there are very few people that come away from proper instruction, first-time shooter at a gun range, that does not acquire a new habit, someone that finds out that they have a love for handling, operating, and using a firearm. I tell you, if nothing else, if you decide not to proceed forward and get a carry permit, let me tell you, it's an awesome stress reliever.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, man. It definitely is. I like to go as often as I can, man. I know in class you tell people that at least once a month, but
At least
you know,
once a
I
month,
like
bare
to go,
minimum.
I like to go, you know, a little more than that, if I can, a little more than that.
Well, you know, and if you can do it, you know, great. I'm not going to stop you, and I will applaud you. I'm not telling you that there's an upper limit. I'm saying there's a lower limit, and the lower limit is primarily so that if and when you do need to use that gun, that you are
Used to operating
accurate
in it.
to, you know, in using that gun, and so that you do not miss, and so that you do not unintentionally hurt someone other than the person that's hurting you or trying to hurt you. And just because you're carrying a gun, that doesn't mean that your community should be less safe because you're now exercising your right. No, you should be able to defend yourself without putting the community at risk and in jeopardy. So that's my thing. Know what you're doing, get your practice in, get your training in. And if it means you have to make a few alterations to your budget, let me tell you, you have to get that training in.
It may be worth it. It may be worth it. You want to do, this is definitely something that you want to be proactive about.
Yeah,
You know,
for
as
sure,
opposed to
man.
Reactive. You know, you may not have a reactive, as a lot of people, you know, unfortunately learn, you know, from situations like Rick just explained.
Well, again, speaking to that, and I'm glad you brought that up, being reactive, you know, that really, to me, when I hear that, that speaks to the need to do more than just having a gun in your possession, you know, on your person, you know, or in your bag or in your purse or however else you're carrying it. You need to have your mind clued in to your environment, where you are, and who else is around, how far they are from you, and exactly what are they doing. Are there individuals who might be checking you out, and because you haven't seen them, this lack of awareness might actually be broadcasting a signal to them that you are safe to rob and to victimize. So, you know, you got to be aware of what's going on around you and be able to verbally and non-verbally let people know that you're paying attention.
There it is. There it is. Now, I've had conversations with people recently because, you know, they've, you know, maybe seen my pistol on me or what. Just friends that know, you know, I may have showed it to them, tell them, like, go to the range or whatever. And some people have brought up in the conversation that, you know, sometimes it may be unsafe, you know, in a certain situation to be seen with a pistol on you. Would you like to go into, you know, what you may think of, or maybe a situation like that, as
Like
well as
unsafe if someone sees that you're armed.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe you might decide to open carry or
exactly
something
and
of
then,
that
and
nature.
that's what I was going to ask you too. Secondly, to explain the difference between open carry and concealed carry, because that's something that a lot of people have a lot of, you know, gray areas or misconceptions about that may not have taken gun classes already.
Well, you know, to the first question, it really depends, you know, it's a philosophical kind of question. It's like, well, if people know that you're armed, it's going to be one of two situations. One, they know that you're armed, and they say, okay, you're not safe to violate. Okay. And then there's the other argument that runs counter to that, is that if I'm the baddest of the bad guys and I see that you're carrying a gun,
You're the first target.
and you're not paying attention, and you just giving off this vibe that someone could just come up and punch you in the face and take your gun from you, then
Right.
you know,
right.
there's that possibility. Is it possible that some person can take your gun? Yeah, it could happen. You know, one, if you're not paying attention, and two, if you're not willing to make someone pay for, you know,
Being that close and
attempting
violating you,
to
right.
attempt to be that person to violate you. So, yeah, there's definitely two different mindsets at play there. With regards to the legalities of open carry. Open carry, that is legally displaying a firearm on your person, you know, such that it is completely visible. If we're talking about on your waist, that firearm must be displayed completely outside of your clothing. That is, it can't be tucked into your pants and it can't be partially obscured by a shirt or by a jacket, yeah, you can do that in the state of Michigan even without a permit. One of the issues that you will run into if you practice that way is that, one, if the wind blows and a little bit of that gun gets covered up, you're technically in violation of carrying a concealed pistol without a permit, which is a felony, and you won't be able to eventually get a CPL or even own and possess a firearm in the future. And the other deal, that goes along with carrying a firearm openly without a permit, man, is that, you're really out there and you're on full display. And, you might, draw some attention. Some people might bar entry into their facility because you're carrying a gun and they may think this, that, or other about you. But,
we got caller on the line. Caller, who is this and where you calling from? You're live on the air with Rick Ector. You got a question?
Hey, Mark. This is Donna.
What's going on, Donna?
Not much. I wanted to find out, does he work with people? Because, like I said, I'm blind in one ear. Blind in one eye and deaf in one ear, both on the same side. Would that be a problem with me?
Okay. Well, do you work with people with hearing and sight impairments? Is what she's asking.
Look, you know what? That is not an issue with regards to you being able to own and carry a firearm and defending yourself. And if I can confess something,
right?
I don't really talk about this a lot, but I wasn't taking care of my blood pressure the way I should have been, and I was unfortunate enough that I actually had a stroke last year around this time, and for a minute it was pretty bad, but I've made a pretty good recovery. But one of the consequences of that stroke is that it affected my peripheral vision. So, I actually, one could call it a disability. I don't really label it as such. It's just a challenge that I have to deal with, and just have to make sure that I keep proper spacing, make sure that I'm aware of my environment and people can't sneak up on me. But the thing is this, you have a right to defend yourself. Your disability is not such that it would preclude or prevent you from carrying a firearm. I mean, if you have some issues, then that just means that you would have to be diligent while you're carrying. As a matter of fact, even if you decide not to get a gun or carry a gun, your situation requires you to be diligent anyway, because you have a challenge and you need to rise above that and be more alert and more aware of your surroundings and who's around to make sure no one's trying to walk up to you and hurt you.
Basically, that's more of a reason why you need to be armed.
And like Mark's saying now, just because you have an issue or a challenge and people can visibly see that might be telling them, hey, look, she might be safe to, she might be easy to arm and easy to victimize.
They see you at the ATM or something, wherever that they may feel like you are vulnerable and some type of a come up.
Well, see, here's the other thing, and then you're a woman. Then there's the the perception that because you're a woman, you're easier to victimize, and then women in general tend to be smaller than men, so there's the size issue. And I don't know.
And then also, I walk with a cane also.
And then you walk with a cane, and then I'm not sure how old you are, and please, I'm not asking for you to disclose that on the air. I have no
problem. 62. I have no problem telling you.
So, and look, and I'm getting, up there too. I'm 50, and see, here's the thing. I got a little gray. And if I cut it, even if I cut my hair low and fade it out, you will still see that silver. So that's another hint that to certain bad guys that might be a item on their victim selection list in terms of characteristics of people that they perceive to be safe to rob, hurt, harm, victimize, carjack, rape, and all that other crazy stuff. So, you definitely have the issues that bad guys like to see in people that they want to hurt. And if you feel like it's the right thing for you to do, then I would full-heartedly endorse that you seek out that training. If that's what you want to do.
Oh,
You know,
most definitely. That's definitely something that's on my list. So yeah, I'm very interested.
and you know what? And I was having this conversation with Mark before we even got on the air today, because I was one of the people at the time that I got my carry permit personally, like 13 years ago. I was the last person to get a carry permit. I was like, who needs them? You know,
Right, right.
if you living your life the right way, you're not hanging out in bars and clubs, and you going to work and bringing yourself home. You don't need a gun. All you're doing is contributing to the problem. More guns on the street. I was the worst anti-gun person in the world, boy. And I'll tell you this. It proceeded all the way until I got robbed in my own driveway coming home from work.
Wow.
And it wasn't late because it was at the time of the year when it gets dark, like about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
We're just getting out of that because we just moved
Right.
and adjusted our clocks. But I got robbed in my own driveway coming home from work, and so I've made like a huge change. And you know what? People who knew me before I got a gun and a carry permit, they swear they don't know me and understand me right now.
Just because of that.
I can understand that. Okay, well, I thank you for that. And like I said, I'm very interested, and I will be getting back with you and trying to deal with getting into that class.
Hey, make sure you make
sure you
it.
get there.
Don't let it go too far. Because I tell you, once I made that decision, man, it came in handy because there were a couple of situations that came up where, man, had I not had it, you know what? Maybe things would have turned out the way that they did. So
Right,
you're
right.
thinking about it, act on it before, too late.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. All right, thank you. Okay,
You're
how you
welcome.
later, Mark?
All right, Donna. Have a good one. Have a good one, sister. So, speaking of the gun class, let's talk about when and where and all of that. So we already let them know that it would be a free gun class. And when?
Yeah, I do it. I do it for the ladies, and the last class we did it was the Sunday after Mother's Day, whatever Mother's Day was on last year. Of course, we know Mother's Day always falls on a Sunday. Right. Exactly 1 week from Mother's Day, we had roughly 600 ladies come out and take us up on that offer for a free shooting lesson at the gun range. We take care of everything. Free gun, rental. You can't take the gun home. You can use it while you're there.
It's rental. It's
Right,
rental.
right. Free gun rental,
Rental.
right? Free
Not
ammo,
free gun.
free instruction. We even had sponsors, and we were giving out freebies, and then we had other sponsors where we had firearm, personal protection related giveaways. It's just a great time, and I tell you, there's nothing that gives me a great feeling of seeing so many women come out to take advantage of this program. If the only thing that's keeping you from coming to this training is fear of uncertainty, you can't find anybody to go with you, you're wondering about can you do it safely, how much is it going to cost? Our whole objective in putting on this program is to remove all the barriers that typically stand in the way from someone trying something new, like seeing if carrying a firearm or operating a firearm is for them. And what you find is people that thought guns were, this or that, they actually do it for themselves, and it is like, wow, what in the world was I waiting on? Why was I listening to these people? I am so glad I went. Thank you for doing it. And you know what? I get such a great feeling and a blast out of women who come to the program and tell me thank you. I really enjoy the fact that you did this program for us. And in keeping with the way we did it last year, it's going to be 1 week from Mother's Day this year. I'm not looking at a calendar right now, but I believe Mother's Day is on the 13th of May, and if that is correct, then 1 week from the 13th will be the 20th of May, and that is when we are going to do this event. And You know what? Undaunted, 600 was the mark last year.
So what's the goal we're shooting
Man,
for
I'm
this
looking
month?
for 800.
800?
Right, 800.
All right.
I want to train 800 women
But
this
we're
year.
going to help you get there. We're going to help you get there because I posted the stat, man, and we had a good response off of it. You know, we actually had a couple of people in the comments that just said that they were interested in Donna. You know, as we heard, called in and said she's interested. So we're going to go ahead and try to fill up them 800 seats. So now, how is this going periodically throughout the day? You have a certain amount of classes that you're doing.
What we do is we work with the gun range, or shall I say the gun range is working with us, because without this great sponsor that we got that allows us to have free range, you know, pun intended, of the range for that day, and we figure out how many students we want to have, and we, based on the number of firearms instructors we have, based on the lanes that we have, man, we have to do some math, right? We do some math, and we figure out, well, how do we make 600 happen? And that's where we figure out our starting time, our ending time, and how many women we can train, you know, per hour, and we make it happen.
So where is that? What range? Because I know I've been with you a couple of different ranges, but I know
man. Over the whole evolution of this thing, man. The last 2 years we've done it at Top Gun over out in Taylor. We'll be back. We've been graciously invited back to Top Gun to do it again this year. You know, it was just cool, man. Just watching them get as excited and pumped about this event as we do as the volunteers and organizers in putting this event together. They've been really great. You know, they enthusiastically believe in what we're doing. And, you know, and it's validation, too, because I actually approached a couple of other ranges. I'm not going to mention their name. Boo hiss to those guys. They really didn't see, you know, anything value added for them to get involved in a project like this. And man, they're really kicking themselves that they didn't take advantage of what I was offering to them.
Because you see it's growing every year. You're getting, you know, hundreds and hundreds of more women every year, you know what I mean? And if that's not, you know, if anything, just exposure for that outlet.
Well, I mean, exposure is one thing, because, I mean, you got word of mouth for everyone that was there. And with social media, and they're all taking pictures and tagging themselves and posting it. You know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all over the place. And then we managed to get some local media coverage. You know, we used to get the local affiliates to come out. We have not yet had any national networks come out, man, but you never know. It could happen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not counting on it, you know, but if it does happen, great. But what we're doing is so big and so huge that it really can't be ignored on the local level.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nobody in the country that is capable of doing this event.
I haven't heard of you know, anything is as important as it is, you know what I mean, and as much as it's needed, I haven't, you know, heard of anything doing anybody doing anything like this on this type of a scale, especially. So, you know
it truly is a monumental event, you know, and it takes a lot of resources to do this event. It takes a lot of volunteers. I have a bunch of firearms instructors, firearms trainers that I've trained personally as a training counselor, or others that I've met and networked with, and they truly believe in the program. And one thing that I like about this year is that I'll even have even more women instructors that I've trained be allowed to be a part of this project. There aren't that many women firearms instructors out there, and I've done way more than my share of trained women to be instructors, and I'll have quite a few women instructors out there doing the actual training in the booth at the range. And as a matter of fact, probably the most prolific woman that I've trained, she's actually going to be doing the informational sessions when you first come in and sit down and get the overview of how the event goes, and teaches you how to hold the gun and what the major safety rules are, and how to make it through this process.
Sounds like somebody I know.
It is somebody you know.
I might know who that might be.
You know exactly who that is.
So, yeah, man, Rick and his team, man, everybody over there at Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit, like I said, very knowledgeable and thorough, man, and all of the information that they deliver, man, in the classes, and on the range, man. So much so that I actually, took my girl, man, to
Yeah.
get laid just recently, man. So, she
Right.
had a good time, man. I'll be bringing her to the ladies shooting event as well. Like, she's already looking forward to being a part of that and getting all of that information as well, man.
I was actually the trainer that was working with her during her class, and she was a little nervous, but man, I don't know, maybe
it was
about
only her third time to the range.
It was about maybe 15, 16 rounds in, and she hit a groove and she couldn't stay out of center mass.
I think I was able to capture that on him.
She was putting those bullets exactly where they needed to be, all nice and tight, right up in the center, all grouped together. So, and I love seeing that. Someone who comes into the booth, they have some apprehension, they have some fear, and you just convey to them that you believe in their ability to do exactly what you say. And one of the magical things that happens, that occurs, is when you tell people what your expectations of them, they tend to rise to those expectations and perform. And then halfway through, I didn't have to stand so close, and I stepped back and just let her do her thing, and she's putting all those rounds of ammunition exactly at center mass. And it's a great thing to see, but, I've done it so often that it's not a surprise, but it's still something that I enjoy seeing.
That's just a testament to how direct that you are with the teaching and being able to explain to people exactly what it is that they need to do when it comes to adjusting their hand position and grip, and all of those type of things, man. As far as adjusting for the recoil and just teaching people what they need to know. You got a good eye on being able to spot the problem and troubleshooting things in people who don't have experience with firearms and telling them how to adjust. So that's all that a testament is, man. You're a good teacher, man.
Man, look, I enjoy doing this. Taking somebody
we can tell, man,
who hasn't done it and being able to make them walk out of that gun range feeling like they truly accomplished something. That's a big joy and a kick for me. I enjoy that feeling.
It's funny that you say that as far as being able to enjoy, making people enjoy the experience, because, like I said, this is her third time at the range. We went 2 other times. And we went to a firearm. We arranged. We're not going to name those guys. We ain't gonna name those guys.
If you're going to mention that name, wait till I'm nowhere around.
No,
man.
because the thing about it is, check it out. Like, when we were there and we were going into the range, my girl was looking at me like, and it was actually a class. Like, we went there on the Sunday, so it was a class going on. And the class was coming out of the range, and she was like, "Why everybody looking like they actually in there shooting dead bodies? They coming out of there looking like they scared, like they done, seen some zombies or some real like." Well,
right.
I mean, they in class right now, so maybe their instructor is. And then when we went, in the to with you, and it was just a whole completely different experience.
Different vibe, man.
Different vibe, different
man.
experience. And it was fun. She was telling me like, you didn't tell me the dude was gonna be silly as hell too. So everything was good, man. As far as interaction and all of that. Rhonda,
look, I gotta be in class too, and I'm gonna have some fun too, man. And the thing is, you will enjoy it, and that 8 hours will pass so fast. You'll be like, wow, I have to go. I'm like, no, but I'm leaving.
Just cut the heat on a little bit. Don't
right,
freeze.
Right,
I know you said that it's cool to it's cool down so people don't fall asleep or whatnot. But that's neither here nor there. Rhonda, Miss Rhonda has a question. By the way, speaking of the questions, man, we do have a phone line that you see right here at the bottom of the screen, 313-723-0481. One of our regular listeners, Donna, just called in because she already knows the number. But for those that are just tuning in and want to question or have a question, there's a call-in line if you want to do so. But Miss Rhonda asks, how do we get with him?
Easy. My contact information, man, it's all over the place. Obviously, I'm also on Facebook. Facebook seems to be the social networking medium of choice, right?
Yeah.
Facebook.com/DetroitCCW. On the web at DetroitCCW.com. If you go to most social networking platforms, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, It's all my name. My name, usually my handle on those sites is Detroit CCW.
Yeah, I
Can't
just,
miss me. Google me. You know, that's not what I tell people. Google me, Rick. RICKECTOR.
There it is. You'll
You'll
find
see everything. All my media appearances, interviews, local, regional, national,
Even on
documentaries, and all types of stuff. You can't miss me. If you even think you want to see something about me, you'll find me.
Just Google the name. Google the name. And yeah, I sent a couple of people to you actually on Instagram as well that I was just speaking to. Actually, my partners from the dispensary that I was just letting you know about. They want to go ahead and get their situation together. So be looking for that, man. But yeah, everybody, if you want information, contact this brother on Facebook. I suggest that's the most immediate way to get in contact with him. If not a phone number, or email, the web address we just gave you, DetroitCCW.com. And when and where, one more time, is this thing going down with the women?
It's
man?
women's event. It is the Sunday after Mother's Day. Believe that
Sunday
is May
after Mother's
20th. The way we do it, and here's the thing: since it's a free event, you know, if I announced and opened up registration like a month early, all the spots would be gone a month early before the event, and life happens and people just decide, well, I can't make it. And so instead of hitting our goal of 800, we might get like 400 or 500. Now, if I'm going to set up for 800, I want to trade 800. And so the way we do that, we promote the event all the way throughout. And then exactly a week before, you know, you can actually start taking up spots. You know, I put the information out to the media, and the media covers it, and it's all over social media, all over the social networking sites. Generally speaking, if you sign up within a day and a half from the day that the sign-up period opens, you should be able to get in. And then there might be some limited opportunities to do fill-ins, but get in on that first day that we open up registration, and you should be fine.
So what that means is this is not the last time that you're going to see this brother here up into this event. We're going to continuously promote this event for you all to take advantage of, and make sure that you know when the site opens up where you can actually sign up and start taking up some spots. We're going to fill that 800 seats up, you know, for sure. So that's what.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to fill up.
Yeah. So there it is, man. We're gonna go ahead now. If you got a link, do you have a link for? Oh well, I guess not. If it's not open, I was gonna say.
But here's the thing. Go to my Facebook, I guess what they call it, fan page. Facebook.com/Michigan CCW. That should be the Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit page.
I'm going to actually tag that and the Rick Firearm Academy. Well, that is the Rick, you just said it. I'm going to tag the Rick's Firearm Academy Detroit page in the caption of this video, along with Rick's personal page, where you can follow him and get more information about this event and everything that he is doing, because several more CPO classes are going on right now in between the time of now and the shooting event, right? So they don't actually have to wait until
this weekend I'm set up. I just finalized a deal to train a church. I just left a church earlier today, and they're concerned about crazy people coming into their church shooting it up. So they're putting together a security detail, and I'll have their staff in a class that I'm actually doing on site. So yeah, I got the pastor's permission.
You're going to the church with the guns.
To bring guns in church. Yep, it's completely legal. I have the pastor's permission. So yeah, I'll be loaded up in church teaching the class. I won't be shooting in church. But I'll be loaded up and carrying in church. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm not going to put the church out there who's actually doing it, but
well, let me know. I might come with the cameras just to get you some cool pictures of that situation. Like, look at Rick. I got my gun in church.
And it's not the first time I've done it. Actually, I've done it a lot of times. A lot of churches have had me come on site and train. And if you have a church or you're in a church, attend the church, hey, run that by pastor. Hey, let's talk.
Well, and not only churches, man, because Rick has actually come here to this very studio. Maybe about 2.5 years ago, man.
I know, man. Where has the time gone, man?
That was a long time, and it almost don't seem like that long until you think about it. Like, whoa, it's been 2+ plus years.
Yeah,
since
I
then.
remember.
And he came here and trained, my radio crew at the time. Now, everybody didn't take advantage of going down and filling out, following through and getting their actual CPLs. But the brother came on site and trained us just as thoroughly as he would at the class if you was to go to the gun range where he teaches, man. So if you have a business and, is, interested in booking the brother to come out and teach the class, I'm sure he'll be, more than likely, happy to do some business with you.
We can work it out.
Do some business.
All we have to do is
Keywords
have a
business.
meeting of the minds. But when both are willing, we can make it happen.
There it is, man. There it is. So go follow the brother, Rick Ector, Rick's Firearm Academy in Detroit, man. This will not be the last time you see this guy, man. And more than likely, when you see me at the range, he'll be somewhere running around.
Oh, Mark has made it a habit to be at the range. Every time
man,
I look up, I see him at the gun range
look,
now.
Man, look, I told you bit me with the bug. You ain't gonna get
Man,
a new gun buddy, man.
I'm thinking you bought stock in the company now.
Hey, well, like I said, man, this is something real fun that I enjoy doing, man. So, I appreciate you for lining me up with the opportunity to be out here the right way with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do it the right way for sure.
Most definitely. And you do it the right way as well, especially you ladies. So keep in tune. Like we said, we're gonna keep you all up to date about everything that is going on with this event coming up the week after Mother's Day. And as soon as that site gets open so you can register and take some seats up, we will let you know. So good night. Well, it's not even nighttime. Good evening.
I know with the
to
time
you all.
change,
Yeah,
it's still light outside.
It's still light, right? It threw me off a little bit. Threw me off, man. So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to say to the people before we get up out of here, man?
Man, just that, I enjoy seeing people take on a more active role in their personal protection. And, of course, the ultimate in that is women taking me up on this free women's shooting event. Just being able to help you make a choice for yourself. And here's the thing. If you try it and you decide that you don't like it and it's not for you, here's the great thing. Then you found out something that won't work for you, and now you'll know that you have a need to find something that will. What actually will that be? I don't know. Maybe you might find that you might have to move. Okay? No, for real. That's another solution. That's another solution. Some people rather than defend themselves.
Because I thought you were going to say pepper spray. That's what I'm about to say.
Nah. You might pepper spray yourself.
Oh, man, you don't need to do that, man. We talked about that in the class the other day.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely take the brother up on the offer, man, because it's a real. And I'm not just saying that because, they tend to say this in the class. I'm not being paid by Rick's Firearm Academy.
You're not, man. You're not.
This is a true endorsement, man.
True endorsement.
This is real talk, man. I've not been to this dude's class for 5 times because I failed. That wasn't the reason.
They were thinking that, like, gee, 5 times, Mark? You couldn't get it in 5 times, man?
No, that wasn't it. He came to the studio. I came. Well, the very first time I came, and went, I didn't handle my business as far as going down to the city county. I kind of waited too damn long. So, I ended up coming back to the class, having my team trained and everything.
We know he old school because he called it the city county building.
City county building, yeah. The what is it?
Coleman A. Young Municipal Center.
There you go. Yeah, I'm
old school. You old school, man. You telling on yourself.
Yeah, man. But yeah, take the brother up, man, because I'm gonna be there with the cameras filming and taking pictures and helping this brother document the situation once again this year. So I might even have some free trinkets to give out.
Some 7MileRadio swag in the house.
Don't tell them too much. But that's what it is, man. I appreciate you coming, bro.
Hey, man,
always,
thanks for having me. Always.
As always, man.
And you know what? Man, it can't be this long next time. You know what? It's been a minute since I've been here.
Like I said, we're definitely going to have you back, multiple times, man, before the event to keep people warmed up about this situation, man, because we want to make sure that you fill them seats up. We want to make sure that these ladies get armed out here so we, won't have any of these crazy news stories about these dudes and, man, that
I tell you, the stories I love to hear is when some guy, some animal, some monster, predator saw a woman and thought he had easy pickings, and she turns around and puts a couple of shots in his chest. Those are the stories, feel-good stories I like to
That's
see.
a feel-good story.
Yeah, man, people think I'm crazy when I say that, but that's a feel-good story, feel-good moment for me. I'm like, good. That's what you get.
Dig that, man. Dig that. So don't let it happen to you, but if it does present itself, you know what I mean, make sure you're prepared. Go see this brother. Like we said, we're going to have him back a couple of times again. Good having you, bro. Appreciate it. You know where the door at, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? We'll be on, you know, we ain't even going to tell y'all the next time we going to put it together. We ain't going to tell
We'll
you
put it
next time.
together
We'll
and
put it
let
together.
y'all
You
know.
got to stay tuned. Follow
Right.
the page. Follow Rick. Follow Firearms Academy of Detroit. And we'll be back next time, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We out of here.